That's a very interesting point because what we try to do actually basically is to solve a problem which are facing every day, especially at the end of the day when we are feeling tired or we don't feel good enough to concentrate properly, when we have headache. So we learn that those symptoms are coming out for maybe different reasons, but mostly because today we are not breathing properly. That sounds strange to tell to people because we believe that we breathe naturally, but in reality today the way we are breathing is not exactly the natural one that we do by instinct when we born. So when we are kids, when we born, we breathe randomly. So the inspiration and expiration. So this way is helping our body to introduce a massive quantity of oxygen in the lung, and then the lung handle it in the proper way, transferring the oxygen to our body, to the veins, and to our brain. So, and this is something very important because, for example, now I'm always repeating this phrase that everybody is concentrating to listen to what I'm saying. They stop breathing. Okay, now you recognize that you start breathing again. So we go apnea because we need to be concentrated. And actually, this one is the opposite way we should do because more oxygen we bring to our brain, and much better we can focus on what I'm saying to you or what the people are telling you or when I'm studying.
So I would also like to comment that, if I may, that actually, if you think about it, it's very touching because breathing is the first emotion actually that we kind of encounter on this when we leave the womb, the mother's womb, and actually it's the first emotion and the most primary function. So it's no surprise that actually children usually we discover that they are alive, but they first take the deep breath and then they start crying usually. Exactly. I guess it's such an emotional thing. Actually, such
and most of the time they need to be forced by a slap on the bottom just to stimulate the first breathing. So what so understanding the problem, we look on how to solve it, of course, on a natural way, natural as much as possible. So we, as always, we do by our. So as I mentioned, so we always look back on the nature and we try to learn from the mother nature. So not like traditional medicine is doing. So mainly the idea was to find a solution from plants, which we believe they are very near to our way of surviving. So we identify a specific plant which they are living in an area where the oxygen is very rarefied. So, and we understood that the study was based on this one. If those plants, they were able to survive against the nature, and so to speak, then there is a starting point very interesting for us to see if we could learn from this plant. So we identified those plants that they were coming from the desert and from high in the mountain where the air is the oxygen is very rarefied, and we studied them and we identified the first 5 to create our product. And our product, or your product, which is basically a mix of different distillation of extract from plant. We create a blend of essential oils which are solving out this respiratory oxygen introduction in the body to survive. So the product we create is KARE, breathing element, which is made of 2 enclosures. There is the carton pack where we open from the back side, and the liquid stays in a glass bottle, white, with a special cap, medical use, which that you can you have to open it, just breaking down the anchor, and then remove it like that. So there is a counter drops here on the top of the product. The product should be used in a way in order to warm up this blend. So you put 3 drops of product on the palm of your hands. Okay, you warm up the dry oil, okay, in order to help to release, to start the oil releasing the active components, the particles, and then you repeat the breathing activity, the round breathing activity 3 times. So just bringing your hands near to your nose, okay, not in your eyes but down. You breathe in and out 3 times. Okay, you can immediately feel that the product is working because the particles are crossing your body and entering in the muscle of the diaphragm, which is getting stimulated and start moving up and down, pushing out all the air and introducing new oxygen in the lungs. Then you finish the application with a small massage on the back of your neck for a specific reason, because as I mentioned to you, the active components of these essential oils are so small that they are able to cross the skin. Crossing the skin, doing the massage, I'm going to work directly on the muscle, on the back muscle, which are with the warming up caused by the blend, is relaxing the muscle, helping the activity to extend. Okay, no, I don't remember the English word, but the okay, the upper part of our
rib cage or chest.
Okay. In order to the chest, okay, in order to allow my lungs to completely expand to accumulate as much oxygen as possible. So, doing this activity once or twice a day, especially before going to bed or in the morning, will help us a lot in order to introduce oxygen in our system. Of course, we can use it for relaxing activity, okay, but as well also for sport activity. Of course, when we do sport today and also in the past, the first things they were teaching us during the mechanic of the exercise is to inspirate and expirate in the proper way, because otherwise the sport activity doesn't bring the benefit you're expecting from. Why breathe properly? Because we need to introduce oxygen to our muscle to get a better performance. So oxygen is, of course, it's mandatory to help us to survive. But if we are able to stimulate to use the oxygen in a proper way, we will have a lot of benefit in the daily life. A daily life that forces us, unfortunately, to discover new alternatives, traditional medicine, to do what by instinct we should do. But this is caused by the daily stress and pollution that we are suffering from the environment, which are, changing our daily our way to live. So then, of course, we can use the product in a different application. So we have on the side of the pack, together with Tiens, we identify small logos, okay, which are simply explaining, okay, with a picture, which are the area that the product can be used, okay, and nearby there is a description on the quantity of drops which should use for any activity. Of course, now let's go one by one, and so the free breathing activity is the one I did now to you. Then we have the direct use of the product on scalp in order to both activity to stimulate the microcirculation to get benefit in also in the life of our hair, but also to reduce or to anticipate headache for those people that are suffering of headache. The blend of essential oils are able to cool down, to relax also our headache problems. Then directly on the muscle with a small massage in order to allow the active component to enter in the muscle and remove the fatigue that we collected during the daily activity, even standing all day or walking or sitting in the car where we are not able to allow the circulation properly down to the legs. And then we can also use the product directly in diluting the product in water to do a foot bath or a bath completely. Okay, as Gregor mentioned before, of course we have a benefit coming from the direct use of the product on the skin, which is penetrating in the muscle, but on the epidermis, on the skin itself. Of course, again, we are learning from the plant. So even the plant, when they are getting damaged, when they stay in the ground, because maybe an animal bited or because the wind break maybe one leaves, the plant, like the human body, is self-cure itself. Okay, and using those essential oil coming from the plant, the DNA of the plant, of course, we are transferring from some specific plant those activities on our skin. So there is a biocommunication, we used to say, on the where bio is life, communication is communication between our body and the nature with the plant. And then something that's very funny, that friend of mine, but even myself, I'm doing very often, using the drop of our product directly on the pillow or on tissue, where we can stay in contact for a long time in order to get the benefit in breathing those active component constantly in order to reduce constipation when we have the cough, when we have a cold. So of course, using the product near to the nose area will remove immediately the constipation. And having on the pillow for people who are suffering of snoring, it's a great solution, so the wife can sleep comfortably. So I believe that I did a very synthetic presentation, touching all the point, again talking about the story, the reason why, and always the great philosophy of our companies, to stay very near to the nature, to learn every day more and more.
Okay.
Questions or otherwise I give to Gregor the words to continue.
If there are any questions regarding practical application on how to use, I guess they can be asked now. If not, then they can be collected and answered later. If you need to leave, then no problem. I will discuss them with you and we can answer in an email later. So if there let me check. I don't see any questions in the chat panel. So let's continue with theory. Thank you very much, Lorenzo, for this synthetic but very wise and full of experience training. If you want to stay, you can learn some interesting things about your product you didn't know about. If you cannot stay, then thank you very much, and I guess we all wish you and your colleagues a Merry Christmas.
Okay. So yes, I have another meeting. So I wish you all great success with this product, but also to get the benefit of it. So what is more important for us is to first using the product to get the first experience, and then you will see that the more you use the product, the more you will sponsor the product because you use them yourself and you see results immediately.
I'm very certain it will find a way, the product will find a way to all homes, and it can be really a new member of the family. It is excellent product with relatively, I would say, affordable. We give you really one of the best essential oils on the market. And it is the secret of know-how, how they were prepared, and also how they were selected. I will tell in a moment something more, not only about the oxygen, but also about other properties. So, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Greetings for your vacation.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so let me continue with more theory, but also a little bit of practice. I apologize. I will be looking not straight into the screen, but looking at my notes. I made many papers, but don't worry. This is. I hope it is interesting. So let me pick up where Lorenzo left it about the art of breathing, importance of breathing. So to summarize, the breathing is one of the most important functions of the human body, and actually it's not only because the oxygen fuels the body with oxygen, but also proper breathing. It's about clearing a foggy mind, unclear mind. It also, as he mentioned, the oxygen is strengthening the muscles. Yes, thanks to this we can move. We can actually go through our daily routines. But also the proper breathing improves the immune response. So I will tell you later how it works. Yes, we can boost our immunity, or at least make sure that our immunity is supported to fight with different daily threats. And also the proper breathing, for example, helps the proper digestion and the proper sleeping. So with the correct portion of oxygen, we can sleep better. And so yet there are many people who actually maybe don't understand, don't learn how to breathe properly, and their body doesn't function well because of this. So it is important to tell you a little bit about physiology of breathing. If you think about breathing, it's actually like first taking a deep breath through your nose and your mouth. So the portion of air, oxygen, goes through your trachea and then goes to your bronchial tubes here, more or less. The trachea is here. Bronchial tubes are here, and then it travels to reach the areola sacs, where the oxygen is then given to the blood. Yes, and in return, the air sacs are passing from the blood the carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide is expelled when we exhale. So this is very important actually to understand that there are two functions of breathing. It's not only the inhaling the air and oxygen, but also very important of exhaling. So kind of like detoxifying the body from carbon dioxide. So in order to do this, it is important actually to remember some simple routines when you're breathing that actually your breathing is facilitated by basically two organs. It is first this diaphragm. It is a muscle in the bottom of our rib cage, and then there are the rib cages muscles between our ribs themselves. And these two organs, they work together actually to secure the proper breathing. So in order to breathe properly, we first should take care of the posture. Yes, we should either sit or stand straight. We should not sit like this, because this will actually stop our diaphragm and especially our rib cage muscles from expanding. So the diaphragm need to contract first to inhale the portion of air, and then the rib cage muscles, they also contract, which actually expands the chest, and then this way we take a deep breath. And there is so this was the first piece of advice. When we want to breathe properly, we should take care, remember about the proper posture. Yes, proper posture, meaning stand or sit straight. The second thing people don't know about, or often don't realize, is actually that proper breathing is not only about inhaling, because even if you think about, if we tell you now, like Lorenzo told you about the proper breathing, so you're thinking maybe that, okay, so it is about the proper inhaling, but we forget that actually it's also about the proper exhaling. And as some research say, that people leave about 30% of carbon dioxide unexhaled. So it does not. It causes that the breathing is not very effective. Yes. So we maybe use the 100% if we try to breathe properly. If we try to remember about it. We use maybe 100% of our chest capacity, but to inhale the air, but we only use about 70% of the chest capacity or the muscle strength to exhale. And what we should do is we should use it in both ways, 100%. We should inhale the oxygen and then exhale all the carbon dioxide that we have in our lungs. And later I will actually tell you about some techniques in a moment that help teach us to inhale and exhale the air properly. So only when we learn the proper technique of breathing, this can energize us, and this can help our immunity, the strength of the immune system, and teach us the proper breathing. So actually, I was supposed to show the presentation. I have forgotten about this. Can you? Yeah, I guess you can see the screen now. Yes.
Yes, we see. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so this was the first slide about the proper breathing and the functions of breathing. And yes, that's true. Actually, an average person breathes from 17,000 to 30,000 times a day. So I guess it depends on the functions, whether we work physically or we sit through the day, also on our age, on our activity. But so our diaphragm and our chest muscles work that hard during the day, 30,000 times a day. What happens if we don't? What happens if we don't breathe properly? Well, it causes a kind of vicious circle. First, the improper breathing causes a stiffness of muscles throughout the body. As our diaphragm is kind of contracted, cannot move properly, and it causes diaphragma stiffness. Diaphragma stiffness, I told you in the beginning why it is so important. It causes restricted breathing through the day. So we kind of start to breathe irregularly. And as I mentioned, we never, and this is a problem, we never exhale a carbon dioxide. We never fully exhale carbon dioxide from the chest. So it kind of, if you think about breathing as a way to clear out the foggy mind, if we don't exhale the full carbon dioxide from our lungs, and so it doesn't clear out our mind. So we kind of stop thinking clearly, we are tired, we are forgetful, we are not attentive. These are things very important to stay focused. The proper exhaling is a technique that will help us stay alert, focused, and energized through the day. And the irregular breathing can get even worse, yes, because it can lead to problems with the poor oxygenation of the body. So our muscles get sore, our heart doesn't have to work harder, yes, our blood the heart has to pump the blood stronger, so it uses more energy, we get tired, yes. And if we don't, if the muscles, if the heart has to work harder, if we don't get enough oxygen, also our muscles don't get enough oxygen, and they kind of start working on a little bit on the non-oxygen cycle, yes? So then the lactic acid can, like during very hard physical exercise, at some point the muscles start working on the anaerobic cycle, and even the lactic acid can accumulate in the muscles, and the muscles get kind of stiff and contracted. So these are also so we get even more tired, yes, and our chest is even more contracted. Our muscles are sore, stiff, and this is the vicious circle, meaning that then it causes more and more stress, that the muscular stress, the body stress, the mind is in stress. So the importance of breathing is very, very, very vital for our health and proper acting during the day. So let's now talk a little bit about breathing in Chinese medicine, and why it is also so important from the point of view of Chinese medicine. I mentioned it a little bit, talked about it last week during the first session. So let me now give you a little bit more theory. Maybe I will not, well, let me try to make it simple. There are three, as you know, the chi vital energy is energy that actually fuels the body. Yes, let us live. It disseminates, moves the chi vital energy, moves the nutrients throughout the body, and also moves the immunity. There are two types of once the vital energy starts to, the chi vital energy starts to flow through our body. There are two kinds of chi energy in the meridians, in the blood veins. There is a nutritive chi energy that comes from food, but also comes from the air we breathe. And there is a wei chi, which is called the defensive chi, that flows the other way around in the meridians, and actually, and in the blood veins. And actually, this is the wei chi, is the defensive chi that protects the body surface against the evils, protects the immunity. But before we transform as a people energy from into this nutritive energy from food and the wei chi, so the defensive chi, we need to get this chi energy from outside. So there are three sources of chi energy that we get from outside. Well, the first one is maybe not from outside, it's inborn chi energy, and it is something we gain from birth. It is the quality of genetic material, it is our strengths. And sometimes the traditional Chinese medicine practitioners say that actually the inborn energy is the energy that keeps our immunity strong throughout the childhood and the adolescence until we are young, about 20 something. This is when the inborn chi energy still protects us. Yes. When we are kids, our lungs are still not mature, so the chi energy is not enough. But later, when we are during the adolescence and we are about 25, sometimes, and it is a funny thing, that actually when we think about teenagers, they usually don't take care very good, or often they don't take very good care of themselves. They eat sometimes a crappy food, junk food, they party a lot, they don't dress properly, yet they are healthy, yes? And we can even see it now. Well, maybe I'm not sure it's a good example, but well, you can see it now during the COVID pandemic that the youngsters, children and teenagers are those that actually, well, they don't feel symptoms. Even if they get infected, they don't feel symptoms. And this is often referred to as inborn energy. It is like a shield that keeps us going till we are about 20 years old. Then this chi energy gets depleted and stops protecting us the same way it protected us before. That's why we actually start getting ill when we get older. Yes. Then there is a nourishing energy that comes from food, but also from the water we drink. And finally, there is a chest. There is a air chi energy that is breathed from the oxygen we breathe. So our lungs, their main function is actually to work together with the spleen. The spleen is an organ that actually transforms the food. It's one of the digestive organs. Actually, in Chinese medicine, it's probably as a functional organ, it's not the same as a physiological organ. In Chinese medicine, the functional organs is something a little bit different. So spleen, as a functional organ in Chinese medicine, is far more important than other digestive organs, even as intestines or our stomach, because spleen transforms the nourishing energy, chi energy from food, and turns it into this nourishing energy and sends it upward to the body, especially to our lungs. And our lungs doesn't send food. It sends the spleen sends that chi energy to the lungs. And the function of the lungs, the most important function of the lungs, is actually governing the chi, because the lungs accept this nourishing chi energy and then together with the chi energy from the air, it mixes it, and then it becomes so-called pectoral chi. And then this pectoral chi is sent throughout the body, through our skin, to our brain, and also downwards to our kidneys. So the function of the lungs in Chinese medicine is actually the governing the chi energy, mixing it, so disseminating it, also sending it downward, so controlling it, because actually it has to, the upper Zheng organs, the lungs are called Zheng. It's one of the yin organs, Zheng organs. Is the upper organs are responsible for sending the chi energy downwards, the yin energy downwards. The lower organs like kidneys are sending yang energy upwards. So they need to work together because the sending by the lungs the chi energy downwards to the kidneys help the kidneys function properly, help the lungs also govern the water passage in the body. So it helps to send the water from the body fluids downward to the kidneys, and this way kidneys clean the body from the waste. In the same similar way, lungs in Chinese medicine are very closely interconnected with the large intestine. So please pay attention to this. They have similar functions. The large intestine is actually absorbing, one of the functions of large intestine is absorbing the water from undigested food. So it absorbs the extra water and helps to transfer it throughout the body. And also another important function of the large intestine is to clean the body from the undigested waste. So one of the functions of large intestine is to detoxify the body. In the same way, lungs, since they are connected with the large intestine through meridian, they also inhale the air. They inhale the moisture from the air. They help to transform the moisture and transfer the water through the body, as I said, to the kidney. But they also help to clean, to detox. The kidneys also have detoxifying function. First, by supporting the large intestine, but also by supporting the kidneys. Yes, so in these two ways, it cleans the body from the waste. And the third function, like cleaning function of the lungs, is governing the perspiration. So perspiration is when we are too hot, we perspire. But also perspiration is one of the ways also of cleaning the detoxifying the body. So when the lungs are dysfunctional, also the perspiration doesn't work properly, and then the skin through sweat glands, it cannot clean the waste. Yes, so then the stagnated perspiration, dysfunctional perspiration, also causes the dull, ugly, acne skin, prone to acne skin. So the lungs also support the cleaning of the skin and keeping the skin healthy and functional. So as I mentioned, the primary function of the lungs is like controlling respiration, mixing chi energy from the spleen, from nutrition, and also from the lungs. controlling circulation, the Qi energy circulation, also circulation of the body fluids, and sending the body fluids downward to the lungs. So, what else? Okay, so a little bit about how to breathe properly. So we already learned about the importance of Qi energy flow and governing through our body. Important of keeping our chest, our lung capacity big, and our lung immunity. But how to achieve it through? We can achieve it in a few ways, by supporting our lungs through medicine, for example, through essential oils. But also we can learn some techniques, and this is now what I wanted to tell you. That probably you heard about the, I'm not sure I will say it properly, the Qigong breathing techniques. So the Qigong, or Qui-Gon, is the techniques in Chinese medicine, in Chinese tradition, that help us actually to relax our body, but also to teach us again a deep breathing. So the deep breathing in Chinese medicine, deep conscious breathing, is the abdominal breathing. So we have to focus on a full breathing. And according to, there is an interesting Qigong breathing exercise that help us to learn this breathing technique that secures proper inhaling, but also proper exhaling. So according to the Qigong or Qigong breathing exercise, if you want to learn to breathe properly, first you should take a deep breath. You should relax and take a deep breath. Pump the oxygen down your chest, inhale it, and then stop for a moment and try to count to 4. It can represent 4 seconds. Then once you counted to 4, you took a break. Then try to exhale the full air also during these 4 seconds. So first 4 seconds, counting to 4, is the inhaling. You inhale slowly and count to 4 in your mouth, in your mind. Then stop for a moment. Don't inhale, don't exhale. Count to 4. Then count to 4 again while you're exhaling. So this gives you a chance to exhale when you're counting to 4 the full amount of carbon dioxide from your chest. And then after you counted to 4 and you exhaled, then take a breath and take a break, and again count to 4 in your mind before you take another breath, before you inhale. So these are like 4 second cycles. Yes, first 4 second cycle, you count to 4 when you inhale, then take a break, count to 4, then count to 4 when you're exhaling the air, and then take another break and count to 4 before you start inhaling again. And do this technique. You can even make it a little bit longer, but not too long, so we won't fall down from lack of oxygen. But you can do this technique for a few minutes every day, a few times a day, and it will slowly start to teach us how to breathe properly, how to relax our muscles, how to expand our chest, and it will also kind of help us meditate. So this breathing, Qigong breathing techniques, abdominal breathing, are one of the first things that we learn during the Qigong exercise. And in general, I don't know much about this Qigong exercises, but if you think about it, these are like kind of exercises, techniques that kind of keep our posture open. Yes, these are many exercises like that to kind of open our chest and slow ourselves down and teach us the proper breathing technique. So this is one of the exercises in Chinese tradition that help us to breathe properly, to improve capacity of our lungs, of our chest, and then invigorate us and improve our immunity. So okay, now let's finish it and start talking about the breathing element, the product itself. Well, the breathing element is a product that contains a blend of purest, specially selected essential oils that are collected carefully from their naturally growing plants like peppermint, pine needles, cajeput oil, and the two, in my opinion, most important oils, and I would like to focus on them. Probably I will not talk about all oil, but I would like to talk about frankincense and myrrh. They are extracted, these blend of oils are extracted through first obtained through different techniques. For example, when we talk about the frankincense and the myrrh essential oils, they are extracted by tapping the trees, tapping the tree bark with special knives. These are the traditional way of obtaining the frankincense and resin and myrrh gum from these trees by kind of tapping and cutting the trees, cutting the tree bark with special knives, and let the resin kind of flow out, and then the resin is dried, extracted by cold pressing, and then in careful steam distillation, the essential oils are extracted. So in this way, it is interesting to understand, and actually you can really try to remember this argument, that in this way the essential oils are far more powerful than the plants themselves. Because if you think about this, the essential oils are much more active than other chemically active than other compounds of these plants. And their function, since they are called essentials, meaning that they are volatile. So their functions is kind of like, if you think about this, actually I started thinking about it, and it's logical. Their functions in the plants, in the trees, are like the chi energy in our body. They are going down, upward, because they are volatile. And in the plants, they protect the plants from the insects from actually different fungi and bacteria, parasites that want to attack the plants. So they are like a concentrated chemicals that are supposed to protect the plants from different pathogens. And also, if you think about what is the tree resin, if you think about frankincense and the myrrh, they come from the tree as kind of resin. If you hurt that tree, and this is unfortunately what we do, yes, we kind of hurt the tree, but well, it's been cultivated during thousands of years. So when it is done properly, it doesn't hurt the tree, they kind of get stronger. But the resin, when it flows from the tree, it is also flows to protect the moisture inside the tree. So these two functions of the resin, of the essential oils, are important. So to protect the plants from the parasites, from fungi and from bacteria, and also keep the moisture in. So this is this gummy viscose structure of the resin that is supposed to heal the wound on the tree bark and kind of protect the insects, the parasites, and the bacteria and fungi from going in, but also protect the moisture, the water from leaving the tree, because of course these two trees, frankincense and myrrh, they live in the hot climate. The blend of essential oils in the breathing element has the special function to regulate the amount of oxygen we breathe in, because they have also some kind of myorelaxation function. So they help to remove this stiffness from the chest muscles, and also it is important to remember that this blend has anti-inflammatory and decongestant function. So anti-inflammatory are all these functions that I was telling you about essential oils that protect the plants, the frankincense, the myrrh, but also the kajaput oil and the pine needle from the outside environment. They protect it against the bacteria, plant viruses, against the parasites and fungi, but also they have the congestion function of on our lungs. So they kind of remove the mucus from our lungs and improve the lung capacity. So the essential oils may be effective in treating upper respiratory infections, like sore throat, but also from some chronic infections like bronchitis, some allergies, also sinus infections. Sorry. Okay, so I already told you about the natural anti-inflammatory and decongestion capacity. So let me now move to the ingredients. I guess it will maybe be, I don't know, 15 more minutes. So as I mentioned, I would like to talk about three most important essential oils. So I will talk about the frankincense, the myrrh essential oil, kajaput oil, because this is very interesting, a little bit about Scots pine, I will leave out the mint, because we know about the mint a lot. This is quite common in the European traditional medicine. Mint is used for relaxation, especially in the European tradition. It's used for digestion. When our stomach is upset, we can drink a mint tea. You can also breathe it. Mint is the mint oil is also used as against the local pain, for example, to remove headache. I will not cover mint too much, but I would like to start from frankincense. Actually, the word frankincense is quite interesting. Frank, incense. Incense are these type of organic matter, like myrrh and frankincense, that are used to burn and to create a smoke and to clear out the air from germs, from bacteria. They have this antiseptic function, incenses, different incenses, and they are also used during, for example, ceremonies, burned in the ceremonies in a Catholic church during the service. But this special type of incense called frankincense has been introduced to Europe during the Crusade times by French crusaders who were coming back from the Middle East, from Jerusalem, and introducing it to the Western kingdoms. It of course has been known for thousands of years in ancient times, but the name frankincense comes from Frank, so French soldiers, French noblemen who were bringing it to France. So this is where the name comes from. So frankincense is also known as olibanum. It's made from the resin of Boswellia tree. There are only few Boswellia tree species that produce real frankincense, real resin that can be used to create the frankincense. And Boswellia sacra, so the Saint Boswellia, and also Boswellia serrata are the sources of frankincense in our product, in Tiens, in Spacker briefing element. The Boswellia tree grows in the mountain regions of Middle East, and is often referred to as oil or essential oil of kings, because it was supposed to be like a noble for the kings, like a noble gift used and given to the kings. And actually, it is interesting to maybe for you would be interesting to know that frankincense and myrrh are two of the three gifts that are believed to be given to Christ child, to Jesus child, when Jesus was born. Yes, on the 6th of January in Christian culture, we celebrate the visit of three magi or three kings to Jesus, and he received Jesus these three gifts. The first one was actually the frankincense, and the frankincense was supposed to symbolize the deity, so godness. So the fact that this is the God's son, that Jesus is a God's son. Then the second myrrh, which is used to, for example, in ancient Egypt, myrrh oil is used to balm the. Used in ancient Egypt, myrrh oil was used to balm the mummies, and it has very strong antiseptic effect. And also in the word myrrh from Arabic language means bitter. So in this way, myrrh was supposed to symbolize the bitterness of life. So the manhood of Jesus Christ, the fact that he's also the man. And the third gift was gold, and this was supposed to symbolize the kingship, that Jesus is a king of people on earth. So this is interesting, maybe, but this actually, there is a piece of truth in this story, in this way that we believe that these three magi, three kings, came from the east. And that's true, because actually the homeland, the place where the Boswellia tree, from where the frankincense essential oils are taken from, grows in the South Arabian Peninsula. In general, Arabic Peninsula, in general, Boswellia tree grow in Southeast Africa, like Ethiopia, Somalia, but also mainly in South Arabic Peninsula, like Yemen or Oman. So in this way, the frankincense was already known in the ancient times, and it is also believed that this was one of the gifts given by the Queen of Saba, that was supposed to rule this southern Arabic peninsula, to the King Solomon. So very old stories are connected with frankincense and with the myrrh, and it was supposed to be like a gold of this southern Arabic peninsula. In ancient times, it was called Arabia Felix. Felix in Latin word means happy. So this was very proper land, very prosperous land, because it was rich due to production of frankincense. Okay, so enough about history. The benefits of essential oils from frankincense are attributed to terpenes, sequiterpenes, and diterpenes. So these are like strong chemicals that are active in frankincense essential oil. Actually, frankincense is also known in Chinese medicine, and it's been used in Chinese medicine since, I think, Tang Dynasty, so about 10th, 13th century. And in Chinese medicine, it's called Ruxiang. And it is used actually in Chinese medicine along with myrrh. So in Chinese medicine, the frankincense and the myrrh are well known. They are used synergetically to work together, and they have been attributed antibacterial properties, as well as, very important, blood moving properties. So blood moving, fluid moving, qi moving, as you can see, is attributed, these properties are attributed to essential oils are in our product. The essential oils from frankincense are produced by steam distillation of this tree resin. And in European traditional medicine, I said that in Chinese medicine it is used as antibacterial and blood-moving agent. And in European traditional medicine, in ancient traditional medicine, it was used to treat the bronchitis, so different type of bronchial inflammation, but also to treat asthma, actually, because there is an interesting mechanism that frankincense essential oil stops overproduction of leukotrienes. Leukotrienes are kind of signaling compounds that are released by white blood cells, by leukocytes, and they are like a signaling compounds that are supposed to regulate the immune response. So when they are overproduced, when leukotrienes are overproduced, they cause some opposite phenomena, meaning that they can actively stimulate inflammation in bronchia, but they also overstimulate the bronchial here muscles. So when these bronchial tube muscles are overstimulated by leukotriene overproduction, they kind of contract and cause coughing and shortness of breathing. This is asthma. So asthma is like
Okay, great. Sorry to interrupt. I think we're running over time. Can we leave some time for the question? Otherwise, we all have other meetings to go. And it's all very interesting story behind the ingredients. But however, we need to maybe focus on the selling and then the questions that we might have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Sure. So let's finish on the ingredients. So the frankincense have ability to alleviate the asthma symptoms. However, be careful, because as Lorenzo said, that if you have asthma, if your kids have asthma, you should rather ask a doctor before using. And they are also, on the other hand, the cajeput oil can actually be aggressive on asthma. So probably you should be careful recommending it for asthma. So another ingredient is myrrh oil. I already told you a little bit about the myrrh oil, myrrh essential oil. What is important is that in myrrh has strong antiseptic properties. So this is what I would like you to remember, that myrrh can be used as an antiseptic, antifungal, and anti-parasitic agent on the skin. So myrrh is often is very much recommended to be used in the baths to alleviate the infected skin, like skin eczema, skin rashes, skin itches, also acne skin. And in the baths, myrrh used to be recommended, and it's known for the purification ritual, women purification ritual. Yes, because myrrh is antiseptic, so it can also, during the bath, it can be used this way as a purification agent for for women urinary tracts and so on. What else? So two more words about myrrh. Myrrh oil is also anti-pain agent because it blocks the opioid receptors in the brain. So breathing the myrrh essential oil can actually, by blocking the opioid or interacting with the opioid receptors in our brain, it can it can actually kind of trick us, tell our brain that we are not in pain. And myrrh can also be used to alleviate headaches, relieve painful swelling, for example, heavy legs. Well, I guess we can stop here. I have some few information about kajaput oil. Maybe few sentences about kajaput oil to finish on this essential oil. That kajaput essential oil, on the other hand, is obtained from the Far East, Southeast Asia trees called Melaleuca. So they are the kajaput oil coming from Melaleuca leucadendron tree are in the same family as tea tree and eucalyptus. So if you think about the tea tree and the eucalyptus, they are often recommended also to treat the skin wounds, skin inflammations, also against the skin parasites like mites. So taking a bath with kajaput oil can be good to as an anti-inflammatory to treat minor skin wounds, other skin disease. It can also work as an antifungal and can be recommended to skin infections or skin illnesses like psoriasis and acne. Also, one last thing about kajaput oil, that it is decongestant. So kajaput oil can be as a decongestant. It can remove the excess mucus from the nasal congestion. So if you have a runny nose, if you're stuffed, if you have congested upper respiratory tract, your nose, your sinuses, and your bronchioles, if you breathe kajaput essential oil, it will kind of clear the extra mucus and alleviate this feeling of being congested. So I guess that's all. I didn't cover all the ingredients, but I guess I agree we ran out of time. I hope that I told you enough about the Chinese medicine and how important are the breathing techniques, and gave you some hints, some arguments to remember that the essential oils in the breathing element are specially selected to act as inflammatory, to protect the immunity, to teach us proper breathing, to improve the chest capacity, but also to protect the water passage in the body, and also to promote the proper detoxification of the body by supporting the lungs, through the lungs supporting the large intestine and the kidneys. Okay, thank you. So